such a wonderful life we lead. All our friends and our families try to close your eyes to make this last, but the time goes by just a little too fast. But there's a moment, and you know it, where you just can't stay and you wanna run away and be free. Let's see, just come along with me. I don't care anywhere tonight. We're alive. So put your junk in the trunk of the truck and let's go. Turning up the tunes, hanging arms out the window, make a sketch of the stretch of the winding road before us. Leave the city, such a pity, but we're sleeping in the forest. You're humming along to a song I sung, breaking all the rules cause we're never this young. Smile every mile for a while as the sun sets, and hopefully you and me will never ever forget the time we spent and what it meant to be right by your side. So let's sing. Do 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 stars in the sky are shining so bright, and the soft pale moon suddenly lightens up the night. We're gathered around the fire that burns out white, and everything is quite alright. Away from the stress of the mess of our lives, and making every moment last 1,000 lifetimes. If we go back, don't lose track of who we are. It's a secret, if you keep it, won't go so far. So let's hold on until we're gone, together, you and me. So let's sing. Do 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 This is the fragrance of garden rain. So, hi, again. What did I say I was going to do? It was something that I promised that I was going to do. I'm forgetting what it was. Let's see. This is the first ever Monday vlog. Ah, that's right. I said I was going to do a Monday vlog every Monday, and it's not Monday. Wait, but before you get upset, I implore you to listen to my story. But before I tell my story, I kind of want to point out a couple things. Or I guess one thing. Check out my sunflower. I made it into a poster. It's permanent now because it's behind this plexiglass force field kind of thing, and I hope it doesn't fall apart because I put a lot of time into it. You can see that I still have the sunflower here, and the clouds and the love, water, and sunshine, but I put words on it this time. It's just love, water, and sunshine, bro. I really like this a lot because it's like, it shows me like my start, like where I started with this stuff. Like not in general, because I've made like a bunch of stuff before this, but this is like, I don't know, there's just something about this that's just, it's inspirational to look at. It's like, I did that, I made that because I said I was going to, and I did. But I hope you like the new format here in the corner, coming this way as opposed to coming this way. I think this provides a little bit more depth, a little bit more edge. Ooh, look at me, I'm in the corner. What you gonna do about it? So if you couldn't tell from like the lyrics at the bottom of the screen while the song was playing, that song is all about getting away and going and being somewhere else that's not here. The inspiration for the song came from a camping trip that me and my roommates Jack, Jorge, and Kenneth went on, and this other guy named Everett, and he's pretty chill. But we basically did the coolest thing ever. Last weekend, literally right before I recorded the Sunflower song, my friends and I put together this plan, this plot, that we would go to the Smoky Mountains. And for a Florida boy such as myself, it's a pretty long ways away. And it is precisely 521.5 miles times 2, because it's a round trip. So what is 521.5 times 2? I don't know, because I didn't go to 3rd grade. Just kidding, I went to 3rd grade. That was a multiplication princess. It's 1,043 miles! That's a lot of miles! I could go to the moon well, not the moon, but still, that was about 9.5 hours of driving. To and from. Actually, to be precise, it was 9 hours and 19 minutes. Which is kind of cool, because we live in So, we left on Thursday late afternoon after I got off work, because I make salads as a job, not as a hobby. Kind of a weird hobby, but I make them as a job, and I had work until like 3:30 p.m., and so, whoops, my bad. So they drove to where I work, and I hopped in the car, and we drove to the Smoky Mountains. But before we got there, we had to stop in Atlanta, Georgia, to visit our good old graduate friend, Ren. Remember him?
Alright, boys. Let me see them titties.
Ah, yes. Hey! Frank.
Huh?
Him. Connects the dots. Got it?
Oh, yes.
Good memories. But we got there at like 3 a.m., so I had to call beforehand and reserve this campsite in a place called Smokemont, and it's a very nice campsite. But since we got there so late, we couldn't check in, so I just had to print out my own information, and I had to post it to our little post. What is happening? So then we woke up in the morning, and then we had to go check in, and then we had to check out immediately. So it was like, what's the point? But here's where the story starts to get interesting. We woke up Friday morning with the full intentions of backpacking 1,000 miles through the mountains. Actually, more like 10 or 12, maybe. But we felt as strong as oxen and as young as babies. But we got a little late start because we needed to get a substantial lunch to fill us with proteins and such, and so we could hike with even more strength than we had at the moment. And it was really hard to actually find a trail to hike because apparently there was this giant storm that collapsed a lot of the trees in the entire northwest part of which way, I don't know, part of the camp. You couldn't even go there because there were trees, they fell, and you were like, I can't get around. So we finally decided to do this around 8-mile loop kind of a thing where we would hike like 6.5 miles, and then we'd get to this special little campground where we would set up camp in the middle of the woods with nothing but our resources and our knowledge, and then in the morning we'd hike another 1.5 miles back to civilization. So we started hiking, and we were feeling pretty good about everything. We had all of the resources that we needed. We had a big old tent for all of us to sleep in that we split up between the backpacks because it was kind of heavy, and everybody had some of the group gear, and everybody had some of their own individual stuff, and everything was looking pretty good. Everybody had a walking stick. Everybody was feeling great. But as we continued on our 6.5 mile loop, we discovered that many of the trees and nature's friends had fallen on the path, and that we could not travel around them. It was very difficult. There came a point where we just couldn't see anything but fallen trees on the path, which was a problem. So then we kind of had to turn around. We hiked about 1 mile back to the fork of the loop. That sounds like a band or something, doesn't it? And we decided to hike 1.5 miles around the back of the loop to our campsite, which is what we were going to get out eventually, but we just kind of went the shorter way. Ooh, but that doesn't make us any less manly, because we still really enjoyed just being around nature and hiking, and we found this really awesome creek that we could run up and run down, and then we could splash around in, splash our feet in, and we relaxed, and we took out our water and our canteens and our Nalgene's, and we were able to relax and have a nice time just being with the bros in the creek. So after hiking just a little bit longer, we finally got to our campground, Campground 29. Remember that, because that's important. We surveyed the area, and we delegated responsibilities for each individual member of the group, and somebody would put up the campsite, ground, tent, and somebody would make the fire. That was me, but Jack helped me out a little bit later. And then somebody, kind of got the food together, and everything was looking good. We had a nice little creek that was running along by our campsite, and so we could go to that, we could get water, and bring it back, which we actually did that a lot. And that was how we made our dinner, because we went and we got water from the creek, and we put it in the fire to boil, to kill bacteria. And then we had these cool little meals that we just added water to, and it's not very wildernessy, but it worked, and it was delicious. But before we had dinner, we had a nice little knife-throwing contest to see who had won, and I got it in once, I think, out of the many attempts that I made. But then using water from the creek, we were able to have our dinner, and it was delicious. And then followed by that, We cooked some s'mores around the campfire, and we just talked about life and each other, and we asked each other the big questions and what we thought about things, and it was a really, really nice, intimate moment for us as bros. And then after that, we went to sleep. And then I woke up in the morning at around like 7:30 a.m., and my sleeping bag was soaked. Like, it had water everywhere in it, and it's not what you think. I don't do that, but it was soaked with water, and I felt the other sleeping bags, and they were completely dry. So I don't know what's going on with my sleeping bag. This condensation nation up in there, you know? So I woke up a good amount of time before any of the other bros decided to get up. And so I thought I'd make myself useful and actually make a really cool fire because I failed the day before. So I had to make another fire, you know? And I even sort of cooked everybody breakfast because I went to the creek again and got some water and got all the porridge, and, you know, we had a nice big old pot of porridge that we all shared and that we ate, and it was awesome and it was delicious. So after we had our porridge, it was time for us to dismember the campsite. We took down the tent, and then we lowered the food from the bear cables, and we put out the fire. We packed everything up and split it up again and packed it on our backs and said goodbye to our campsite, and then we continued back the 1.5 miles that we hiked the other day back home. Not back home, back to our truck. But before we got back, we went back to the exact same creek that we went to the day before, and we were feeling crazy, or at least me and Jorge were, and so we jumped in the icy water, the icy Smoky Mountain water. It was freezing, and we jumped in, and it was cold, and we got underneath the water fountains, and it felt really, really good because we weren't able to shower at all the entire time. That's 4 days of no showering. We were stanky. But after we jumped in the water and we jumped around and ran around a little bit more, we made it back to the truck. And then we knew from there where we had to go, which was, bing, Gatlinburg. Gatlinburg is basically like the Disney World of Tennessee because it's just this little town that is just a giant tourist attraction. So after we checked back into our previous campsite at Smokemont, we went to Gatlinburg. And the first thing we did was we went to a place called Ober-Gatlinburg. And there we went up on the ski lift to the middle of the mountain, and then we took this thing called an alpine slide all the way down to the bottom of the mountain, and it was really, really fun. And I've done it a lot in my life, and every time has been equally as satisfying and as exciting. And then after that, we just went into Gatlinburg and we started looking around a little bit. I went there last year. Do you remember this video? I'd just been there like exactly a year ago, so everything looked so familiar, and it was so chill, so cool. I was like, hey, I remember this! So then finally we went to this one kind of video arcade attraction area, and then we got this pass that said we could do 6 attractions for like $16, which is a pretty good deal, I think. And we started off with 2 really cool, goofy golf courses that were kind of carved into a mountain. They were kind of slanted. You had to work your way up to the top and then back down to the bottom, sort of, and it was really cool. And I kind of got second place, I think, because somebody tied for first and somebody tied for third, so I got second. Alright, and then after that we went and then we geared up and we played laser tag, which was really, really cool. But I hurt my finger. And then after that, we got in these little bumper cars that were kind of small, but they were still kind of fun. Then after that, we played a bunch of arcade games, and I got these cool bracelets here that are kind of like our friendship bracelets now because we each got one. And so now it's a bond of bracelets. And then we went out into the nightlife of Gatlinburg because we had kind of been inside for quite a little while. And we looked around at all the cool attractions. There was a Ripley's Believe It or Not there, and there was this tallest man in the world robot thing that stood up out of a chair, and we were walking by it, and it stood up out of our peripheral vision, and it scared us to death. It was literally the scariest thing that any of us had ever experienced because we thought it was going to attack us. And then after that, Jorge insisted on buying everybody dinner, which is really cool because then I wouldn't have to spend any money. So then we went to a couple of the barbecue places that I had gone to last year, but they were closed. They were no longer offering up any food for purchase. And so then we finally decided on this cool wiener sausage area of food, and Jorge bought us all these really cool looking hot dogs, and they were really, really delicious, and we all enjoyed them oh so very much, and they filled us up to the very brim. And then since we had a few of our activities left back at the arcade place, we went back and we played Blacklight Golf, which was really cool. It kind of gave me a headache, and then we went back and we played laser tag a couple times. But I was really bad because I got a 0, and everybody else got like 4,000. So that's really bad. So the place closed at midnight, so we played laser tag for the last time, and then we went to this kind of bar karaoke area where there were drunk people singing country songs, and it was kind of cool. And then we went outside, and then we kind of just sat on the porch overlooking Gatlinburg at night. So then we went back to our Smoke Mount campsite, and we slept there, and we woke up in the morning, and then we jumped in the car, and then we drove 10 hours home, all the way back home again. I got to drive for a little bit. I drove a truck. It was pretty cool. And so we got back home pretty late on Sunday night, like 11 p.m., and I was feeling pretty tired, and I had work on Monday, and I was trying to write a song, because I was like, I want to write a Monday song. I gotta write a Monday song. So they started working on this song, and I wrote it, and it's an actual song with actual words on a piece of paper. And I sat down, and it was a really awesome experience for me, because I've never really written a song before like that. And it was really, really nice, because I tried to write a song, you know, and I tried to find inspiration. I tried to put into my head what my inspiration would be, but it turned into something authentic, and it was just like, this is about having a good time, you know? I thought it would be like a slow song about going camping, but then it kind of just became like a fast-paced, fun little ditty about just getting somewhere and going somewhere with people you love and care about and having a good time. And that was really cool for me. But I really hope you like the song, because I put a lot of effort and authenticity into it, and it was so much fun, and it was really a great experience for me. And I'm going to keep doing this because I love it a lot, and it makes me really happy, and I hope it makes you happy too. And, you know, maybe you can go and share this with somebody else. And just one last thing real quick that I noticed after I got home, I get car sick sometimes. So I take this, oh, there it goes again. But I take this thing called Dramamine, which is a preventative drug that doesn't make you get car sick. And sometimes you get car sick, and you take Tylenol because you have a headache. But I just noticed this is stuff that my mom gave me before I left home. And this Dramamine expired April 1989. And let's see. Yeah. Can you see that? That is kind of sucky. And this Tylenol expired in 1996. So that is going inside of me. And that can't be good. Okay, so this video has definitely gone on long enough. Thanks again so much for checking back in, you know, listening to the music, and then maybe this. Maybe if you made it all the way to the end, that's kind of cool. And I really appreciate it, because I do this because I like to do it. And I do it because maybe there's somebody out there that's watching and then maybe likes it when I do it also. And that's kind of inspiring. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Whatever time you're watching this, thank you again. And I'll see you on Monday. And have a very nice week. So